Good morning, everyone. Shall we start our class? So the last class we seen Hyper-V. Hyper-V stands hypervisor, and we seen by using hypervisor service we can create the virtualization network. We can go for virtual network to save the hardware, to save the space, to save the cost, to do easy management, to save the hardware license, right, and to save the operating system license also, right. So if you want to design the network in virtualization, if virtual network, you require hypervisor service from Microsoft. And we see in the last class, the hypervisor is a server operating system, is available in 2012 server operating system, and is having full features. And we have two types of hypervisors. One is called type 1, right? We require in production time. And we have a type 2, it's a software based for testing purpose, for lab purpose we can use here, right? And the last class we seen how to install the hypervisor service to go for the virtual network here. So we have one physical machine. So we have physical machine, and this is my physical computer, is my hardware server. And to run this machine, I'm installing 2012 server operating system, maybe standard or maybe your data center edition. So we are using here server operating system, and on the top of this one we are installing Hyper-V service. And by using this Hyper-V service, we are creating the virtual machine, and we are installing operating system. We are creating one more virtual machine, we are installing operating system, we are creating one more virtual machine, we are installing the operating system. So last class we seen how to install the hypervisor service, and by using hypervisor service how to create the virtual machine and how to install the operating system, right? Now this virtual machine should be connected to my host machine first, and this virtual machine should be connected to my network also, right? So in every virtual machine we have a NIC card. By default NIC card is there in every virtual machine, but this NIC card is not plugged to your network. And your physical machine also is having NIC card, and this NIC card IP address example is 10.0.1, and which is connected to our physical switch. So by the help of physical switches, and we have a number of machines here, and I want to connect all these machines. Example, I want to make system 2 to this network system 3, and this system 2 system 3 also is connected to my network, and this machine IP is 10.2, and this computer example, this computer IP address is 10.3. So by sitting on virtual machines, I want to communicate with my host computer. By sitting on virtual machine, I want to communicate with my other physical machine which is in my network. So first we have to connect the virtual switch or not here. Sorry, we have to connect the virtual machine to our network. So if you want to connect this machine to your network, system to your network, what we require? We require switch. Already we have. We require cable. Connect one end cable to your machine and one end cable to your switch. Then connectivity is there. Now we have a physical machine. If we have virtual machine 1, I want to connect the virtual machine 1 to my network. So then what we require? Take one cable, connect one end cable to your virtual machine, and connect one cable to your physical switch. Connectivity established. We can do it? No, because these are the virtual machine. Physical cables we cannot connect. So here we require virtual connectivity. Now here we require virtual switches also. We require virtual switches. So today we are starting our topic Hyper-V 2 class, and today we are starting the topic with virtual machines. So write down types of virtual switches. Types of virtual switches. And please copy this slide. Is done over. So to connect the virtual machines to our network, right, we require virtual switches here. So first we'll check whether our machine is connected to a network or not, virtual machine, which we created the last class. In the last class, we seen the practical, how to install the hypervisor service by using server manager, by using Airdopes and features. We can see we have hypervisor service. And if you go to the start button, you can find Hyper-V manager services available. By the help of that, we can manage the machines. You can open the Hyper-V manage service, and we have created the last class one machine, that is a VM1. Can I create VM2 also here? Yes. So please tell me the method, how to create. Right click on system name SYS1, new, click on virtual machine, and click next here. Give the virtual machine name, that is VM2, and check the box store the virtual machine different location. Click next. I'm giving the RAM 1 GB 1024. Click on next, and right now there is a no switch here. Okay, so click next here, and the virtual machine is creating new hard disk here for this machine, that is called vm2.vhdx format here. Click next, and I want to install the operating system through DVD. Click next and finish. And you can see here one network adapter also is creating for this virtual machine. This machine is having one network adapter, one NIC card is there, right? But I want to know whether this machine, and install the operating system, whether this machine is connected to network or not. So you can do one thing, log in as administrator. We know, right click on network icon, go to properties, go to change adapter setting, and you can find one NIC card, but it will show you like this on your NIC card. It will show you like this X mark. So it means NIC card is there, but is not plugged to the network here, right? So if you want to plug here, or if you want to know if the machine is off also, I want to know whether this machine NIC card, this machine is connected to network or not. So you can see in the down, I have virtual machine 1 here. If you come to the down, you can find some options here. Are you finding one option here, networking? So if you go to the networking option here, you can find this machine is having one network NIC card adapter, and this is the adapter name, and you can see it is not connected, and there is a no IP address. We know how to give the IP. We can give the IP through DHCP server also. We can give the IP static also. But first, this machine should be connected to network or not. It is showing network connection is what? Not connected here. So we have to connect. And you can see system 2 also. If you go to the system 2 networking also, you can find is not plugged here. So we want to connect these machines to our network here. So we require switches here. So here the Microsoft has given 3 types of switch. The first one, to connect virtual machine, the Microsoft has given the first one, that is called private here. Now what is the use of private? By using private virtual switch, we can connect from virtual machines to virtual machines only. If you want connectivity and communication between virtual machines to virtual machine, or between selected virtual machine or all virtual machines, only virtual machines, I want connectivity and communication, then we require private. Example, in this diagram, I have 3 machines. I want communication between VM2 and VM3. So create the private virtual switch and connect to VM3 and VM2, then communication is there. Or I want communication between all these 3 virtual machine 1, 2 and 3. So create the private virtual switch and connect all these virtual 3 machines here, and then we have a communication between only virtual machines to virtual machine. But remember here, there is no communication with your host computer. Your host computer IP address here, right? Your host is connected to a physical switch, and the IP address is 10.0.1. There is no communication with your host machine. There is no communication with other machine which is present in the LAN, like system 2 and system 3. There is no connectivity communication. Okay, so by using private virtual switch, I can connect from virtual machines to virtual machine only for communication. But if you take the help of internal, by using internal virtual machine, by using internal virtual switch, we can connect to all virtual machines to only host computer, right? So if you want communication between all virtual machines with my host machine only, I don't want connectivity with other machine which is present in the LAN, If you want only connectivity and communication between virtual machines to host computer, then we require internal virtual switch. So example here, in this diagram, I want to connect all these 3 virtual machines to my host machine, right? I don't want any connectivity with my system 2, which is present in the LAN. I don't want any connectivity with my system 3. I don't want any communication with my LAN computers. So then we require what here? Internal. By using internal virtual switch, we can connect all virtual machines to host machine. Okay, but we have one more, that is called external virtual switch. By using external virtual switch, we can connect all virtual machines to all LAN computers, right? And WAN also. If we have internet line, if you want that internet line in my virtual machines, so then we can take the help of external. So by using external virtual switch, I can connect all the virtual machines to my host. I can connect all the virtual machines to my physical machines which is present in my LAN. And if you have internet line, if you are using internet line in your network, so that internet line also you want in your virtual machine, then you require what here? External virtual switch. So by using private virtual switch, what we can do? We can connect only virtual machines to virtual machine. Connectivity and communication is there between only virtual machines. If you want connectivity with virtual machines to host machine only, then you require internal. If you want connectivity and communication between all virtual machines to host machine with your all LAN computers with WAN, so then we require what here? External virtual switch. So which is the best one in the real time here? We'll go for external virtual switch here, right? So we'll take the help of external virtual switch to connect these machines here, right? So please write down our next lab today, creating external virtual switch. Okay, so please write down. See here, the method and procedure is same when you're creating private virtual switch, when you're creating internal virtual switch, when you're creating external virtual. But you have to remember here, what is the use of private virtual switch, what is the use of internal virtual switch, what is the use of external virtual switch. So I want to connect my machines, virtual machines, to all LAN computers. I want to connect from my virtual machines to all LAN computers. I require external virtual switch here. So please write down, in system 1 server, in system 1 server, login as an administrator. Then write down, open the Hyper-V manager service. Open the Hyper-V manager service. Okay. Then write down, right click on system name SYS1. Right click on system name SYS1. Click on virtual switch manager. Right click on system name SYS1 and click on virtual switch manager. So we have to right click on system name SYS1 and here we can find virtual switch manager. Now once you click this virtual switch manager, one new window will open, and in this window right now you can see there is no switches created here. So we are going to create the new switch, and here we have 3 options: private, internal and external. So which one you like, which one you want, select that one and click on create virtual switch. So write down, select external and click on create virtual switch. Select external and click on create virtual switch. Now once you select external and click on create virtual switch, is asking the switch name. You can give any name to your switch here. So it's asking here, sir, what name you want to give to your switch. So write down switch name dash switch 1. So write down switch name dash switch name 1. So I'm giving the name here switch 1. Okay, or you can give any name, it will accept for you. Then I don't click on apply. Click on apply. Click on yes. Click on apply. Click on yes, and click on OK. Click on apply. Click on yes, and click on OK. So once you click yes and once you click OK, you can see here your switch is creating. But sometime maybe this process will be failed, right? So if this process is failed, if you're getting error here, so please do one thing, try one more time there, then it's going to create. Yeah, I'm getting here request failed some properties. Now here, one more time I have tried, it is successfully done. Click on OK. So once you click OK, your virtual switch is created. If you want to confirm, right click, go to the virtual switch manager, and you can see here your switches. Switch 1 is created for you. Okay. Now we have two virtual machines here, but right now this virtual machine is not connected. You can see system virtual machine 1 is not connected. I want to connect this virtual machine 1. The same method for virtual machine 2, also same method for virtual machine 3. Example, I have 10 virtual machines. I want to connect all these virtual machines to network. So how many switches I have to create here? Only one is enough. But we have to connect to all these virtual machines or not here. Once you create the switch, remember here, once you create the switch is created, but it's not going to plug. This machine is not going to connect to your switch. We have to connect physically there. Okay. So please write down. Manually, we have to do this process to connect these machines. Okay. Write down next line. In Hyper-V Manager service, right click on virtual machine 1. In Hyper-V Manager service, right click on virtual machine 1 and click on settings. In Hyper-V Manage service, right click on virtual machine 1 and click on settings. So once you click settings, you will go to the properties of this virtual machine, and you can see here in this list, are you finding network adapter here? Yes, but what is written here? Network adapter is not connected. So we are going to connect this one. So write down select network adapter. Select network adapter. And here also you can see here your virtual switch is not connected to your network adapter. So how to connect? So we have to drag this option and you can find which switch you created. Once you select and once you click apply OK, so this machine is going to connect to my switch 1. This is the method and procedure to connect the machine to a switch. So write down in virtual switch dash select virtual machine. In virtual switch select dash switch 1. In virtual switch dash select switch 1 and click on apply OK. In virtual switch select switch 1 and click on apply OK. So once you select switch 1, you can see it is selected. Then click on apply and click on OK. So once you click OK, now my machine is connected to a plug. How to know? Right now this machine is off. In off mode, can we check this machine is connected to my switch or not? Yes, we can know by using this networking. If you go to the networking, we are in virtual machine 1. Select the virtual machine 1, go to the networking, and you can confirm here. You can see here what is showing. Earlier it's showing not connected, but it's saying now it's connected. But right now there is no IP address. We know how to give the IP. So to give the IP, what we have to do? First we have to on the computer, right? Connect and start the machine. Log in as a administrator. Can we assign the static IP or not here? Yes. So this is the method and procedure. Right now this machine is not having operating system here, but we know how to assign the IP address. So in the lab machines, you have already done virtual machine 1. In that operating system is there, and there is no IP address. You have to assign it. So please write down verification. Write down verification on the virtual machine 1. On the virtual machine 1, You can say on or you can say start also. Okay, on the virtual machine 1. Login as administrator. Login as a administrator. Then next line write down assign the IP address. Assign the IP address 10.0.0.51. Assign the IP address 10.0.51. Okay. Now after assigning IP, I want to know whether this virtual machine is having communication with host machine or not. Whether this virtual machine is having communication with other machine, my next machine, which is present in my physical network or not. Can we ping? Yes. So first we have to assign the IP. So what I am doing here, right now, once you connect this machine to network, so right now this machine is plugged, but we need IP. We logged as the administrator and we are assigning the IP address here, that is 10.0.0.51. But from this machine, I want to ping to my host machine. From this machine, I want to ping to my 10.2 machine, 10.3. Can we ping or not? So write down next line. From virtual machine 1, ping to 10.0.0. host computer. 10.0.1 host computer. From virtual machine 1, ping to 10.0.0.1 host computer and check the reply. You have to check the reply. Reply has to become there. Ping to 10.0.0.1 host computer and check the reply. Okay. And like this, can we ping to 10.2 physical machine? Yes, 10.2 means my LAN computer. Can we ping to 10.3 also? Yes. So we'll get the reply. If you're getting reply, so it means successfully this switch machine is virtual machine 1 is connected to my network. So like this, can we plug virtual machine 2 also to my network here? Yes. The method and procedure is same. Already we have a switch. Just we have to open the Hyper-V managed service, right click on virtual machine 2 and click on settings and select the network adapter and is not connected. Drag and select here switch 1 and click on apply and click on OK. And you can see in networking, the virtual machine 2 also is connected network. And right now there is no IP. Can you give 10.52 here? Yes. Can we ping to our network computers here? Yes, we can ping to our network computer. Okay. So this is the method and this is a procedure to connect virtual machines to our virtual switch and to assign the IP address here. Okay. Now come to the next topic today. Write down types of virtual hard disk. Types of virtual hard disk. Types of virtual hard disk. And please copy these names. It's done, finished. So we have types of virtual hard disk. One is called dynamically expanding VHD, one is called fixed size VHD, one is called direct attached storage, and this direct attached storage in short also is called DAS, you can say. So whenever you find this name DAS, so you have to say direct attached storage. Okay. Then we have one more that is called differencing VHD, and we have one more that is called pass through VHD here. So I will start with direct attached storage here. Now, without direct attached storage, the experts are saying you cannot run your machine, you cannot run your physical machine, you cannot run your virtual machine. If you want to run the physical machine, if you want to run the server, if you want to run the laptop, if you want to run the virtual machine, at least we require one hard disk or not here. By which hard disk your machine is running, that hard disk is called what here? Direct attached storage here. So example, to run this host computer, I have one physical hard disk, right? I'm using one physical hard disk. So by this hard disk, this machine is running. That is called direct attached storage. When I'm creating virtual machine also, is asking clearly, sir, create a virtual hard disk or select link an existing hard disk. Now without hard disk, can I create the virtual machine? No, option is not available. So when I'm creating the virtual machine, before installing operating system, before adding some data, it's clearly is asking create one hard disk here. So I created one hard disk, right? So by this hard disk, my virtual machine is running, and whenever I'm installing operating system, whenever I'm installing adding any service, whenever I'm creating some data, so this data, this hard disk, this data and this software are going to store in this hard disk or not here. So by this hard disk, this virtual machine is running. So that is called what? Direct attached storage, right? So by which hard disk your machine is running, maybe physical or maybe a virtual. So that hard disk is called what here? Direct attached storage here, right? Now come to the next one, that is called fixed size VHD and dynamically expanding. This fixed size VHD and dynamically expanding VHD I can use for my host machine, or I can use this hard disk for my virtual machine also, right? So it means before creating virtual machine, I can create the hard disk, right? Maybe fixed size VHD or maybe a dynamically expanding. And then when I'm creating the virtual machine, right, I don't need to create the new virtual hard disk. It's asking, sir, select the existing virtual hard disk. I can select and can give. So it means before creating virtual machine, I can create one empty hard disk for virtual machine. Or I don't want virtual machine. I want hard disk for my physical machine, for my host machine. So I can use this hard disk here. So example, what is the use of this hard disk in physical computer? So example, right now, I have one computer in my machine. So I have one computer here. So example, this is my host computer. And in my host computer, I have one hard disk. And here, that is a D0 hard disk. And here we have nearly 100 GB free space. So now tell me, in my computer, how many physical hard disks I have now? Only one physical hard disk we have, right? But we have some practicals I'm going to show you in future class, that is called RAID configuration, right? Example, I'm taking RAID configuration. So for RAID configuration, we require minimum 2 hard disks. How many hard disks here? 2 hard disks. Right now, how many hard disks we have? Only one. Space is there, 100 GB space is there, but still I require 2 physical hard disks. So I can do one thing, go to the market, purchase one hard disk, physical hard disk, plug to your physical machine and go for your practical, right? But after your practical is completed, now tell me, any use of this second physical hard disk? No. So it means unnecessary we are wasting one hard disk, unnecessary we are wasting the money, right? Instead of this one, we can do one thing. In hard disk 1, in D0, we have one physical hard disk. How much free space is there? 100 GB. So by using this free space, I can create one hard disk here. By using this free space, I can create one hard disk, and this hard disk is called D1 hard disk. So now tell me, in my physical machine, total how many physical hard disks we have? 1. But now we have 2. One I created by using this free space. By using first hard disk, by using D0 hard disk, free space, I created one more hard disk, and this hard disk is called virtual hard disk actually here. But my machine is thinking we have 2 physical hard disks. But here, what is the total size I'm taking here? 100 GB. But I'm creating the first partition here. When I'm creating the first partition, first drive, I'm using this option. Which option I'm saying? Fixed size VHD. And I'm giving the size 2 GB here. How much I'm giving here? 2 GB. So whenever I go to the computer, I can find one partition with the size of 2 GB. I can store the data up to only 2 GB, right? Size is displaying 2 GB and maximum data also what here? 2 GB. More than 2 GB we cannot store. Option is not available there, right? But instead of this fixed size VHD, I can select this option also. That is called dynamically expanding. Dynamically expanding. By using dynamically expanding, total hard disk size is 10 GB. I have given size how much here? 2 GB. So whenever you go to the computer, you can find the size of the drive is what here? 2 GB. But automatically the size will increase up to how much here? 100 GB here, right? So it means here, whenever the data is increasing, automatically the size is increasing here, right? So display size is how much here now? 2 GB, but it's not fixed here. Whenever you increase the data, automatically the size will be increased. And compared to the fixed size VHD, dynamically expanding VHD, writing and reading speed is fast here. And when you're creating the fixed size VHD in physical machine, is taking at least 5 to 10 minutes time here. 5 to 10 minutes, right? But when I'm creating dynamically expanding VHD, quickly, very fast, is creating the dynamically expanding VHD. So which hard disk is best option? Dynamically. And dynamically VHD option is available only in 2012. This dynamically expanding VHD option is available in 2012. This option is not available in previous operating system. In 2008 or 2, this option is not available. Okay. So first we'll see now how to create the fixed size VHD, and how to create, next we'll see how to create the dynamically expanding VHD. But the method and procedure is same there. Only the spaces will change. So please write down our next lab. Creating fixed size VHD. And please, if you're not getting any point anywhere, you can ask the questions. Once again, I will repeat for you. So please write down creating fixed size VHD. Okay. So please write down in system 1 server, login as administrator. In system 1 server, login as administrator, open the Hyper-V manager service. Open the Hyper-V manager service. Open the Hyper-V manager service. The right click on system name SYS1 and click on new. Right click on system name SYS1, click on new. Now see here. Once I click new, now we have 3 options. First option, virtual machine. Second option, virtual hard disk. Third option, virtual floppy disk. Floppy disk, forget, we are not using anywhere. Okay. Now, which one we require? Virtual machine we require or virtual hard disk we require? Virtual hard disk. We are going for virtual hard disk here. So write down, click on virtual hard disk. Click on new and click on virtual hard disk. Now, once you click this virtual hard disk, one new window will open, right? And it's a beginning window. Just write down, click next. Now, once you click next, it's asking one good question here. Sir, what type of format of disk you require? You require VHD or you require VHDX? Which is the best one? VHDX. So write down, select VHDX and click next. Click on next. So once you click next here, in next page, is asking here what type of disk you require, sir. Sir, you require fixed size or dynamically expanding or differencing. Which one? Fixed size VHD. So write down, select fixed size VHD. Select fixed size and click next. Select fixed size and click on next. Now once you click next here, in next page, is asking, sir, give the name to your virtual hard disk. See here, you can give any name, and default name is what? New virtual hard disk dot VHDX format. And this is the place where the virtual hard disk storing, right? See users, public, this is a location. Okay. So I don't want this name. I want to keep my own name there. So write down fixed disk dot VHDX. So I'm giving the name here, fixed dot VHDX. Fixed dot VHDX and click on next. Now once I click next here, in next page is asking, sir, what size you want to give. So here, but default is what here? 127, and maximum we can give up to here 64 TB size, right? But I want to give only 5 GB. Can I give 5 GB here? Yes. So write down 5 GB and click on next. 5 GB and click on next and click on finish. Now once you click finish here, once you click finish, is done. But in the lab, it's going to take some time. You have to wait because the creating and formatting is very slow here. Okay, so we have to wait in the lab. Now how to inspect, how to verify whether the virtual hard disk successfully created or not. You can see in this page, in Hyper-V Manager page here, we have an option, inspect disk. So we can check by the help of the inspect disk how many virtual hard disks we are having, extra VHD, how many we have. So write down verification. In Hyper-V Manager service, click on inspect disk. In Hyper-V Manager service, click on inspect disk. Click on inspect disk. Now once you click this inspect disk here, one new page will open. Can you find your virtual hard disk created? Yes. Which one we created? Fix. So write down, select fix.vhdx hard disk. Select fix.vhd hard disk, vhdx hard disk, and click on open. Select fix.vhd hard disk and click on open and check the details. Once you click open, you can find the hard disk is connecting and you can check the details here. It's connected and see the details. You can see the name is what, the type of the hard disk is what, fix.vhdx, and this is the location where it's storing, and this is the name which we given, and what is the current size here, 5 GB, and maximum available size is what here, 5 GB. More than 5 GB user cannot store the data there. Okay, so this one. Now how to use this hard disk in the real time in our machine here, right? So how to use here? So you can do one thing, go to the computers, go to the C drive, and go to the users, go to the where, which one, public. Okay, then we have to open the public documents. In that we have Hyper-V, and in that we have virtual hard disk, and you can see your virtual, this is the location, remember this one. Okay, so this is your complete location we have. Now you can see here, I want to use this hard disk for my physical machine actually. So you can see, if I go to the start button of my physical machine, if I go to the disk management to check the hard disk of physical machine, and you can see in my physical machine how many hard disks we have now. Only one. The name is what, D0. We have only one hard disk, but I want to attach this hard disk. Which hard disk? Fixed size VHD to my physical machine to use. So how to use this one? So if you want to attach this hard disk to your computer physical machine, just double click. We have to double click on this one. Once you double click, it's giving error. Actually, it's not an error. It's saying now, sir, if you want to use this hard disk, please use the disk management, right, to create the partition, to create the volumes here. Yeah, okay, I will do it. Okay, close this one. Now see here, again go to the disk management in your physical machine, host machine, right click on start, go to the disk management, and you can see here, once I open, right, it will give you, sir, one new hard disk is connected, please attach it. Click OK, it will attach. I'm getting one message here. Yes, what is saying, sir? Already we have D0, but which hard disk is attached? D1 hard disk is that new hard disk, and you can see we have some formats here. Tomorrow we'll discuss about this one. What is this MBR? What is a GPD? But remember here, without GPD, without MBR, we cannot attach the hard disk. We cannot run the hard disk. Remember this one. Okay. So if you want to attach the hard disk to your machine, so we have to select MBR or you have to go for GPD. So I'm going for default one, MBR. Click on OK. So once you click OK, you can see here, if you maximize, one new hard disk is attached. Can you create the new partitions here? Yes, we can right click on this free space and click the create the new partitions here. Okay, we can store. But after my job is done, I don't want this hard disk. So delete all the partitions first. Delete the partitions. It should be like this, unallocated. Then right click on this D1 hard disk and click on offline first. Right click on offline, and then again right click and say what here? Deattach VHD. So once you click deattach VHD, it's going to remove. But remember here, it's not going to delete. Still your hard disk is available there, but it's going to remove from disk management tool here. So you can see here, once I click, say yes, I want to remove this one. Now see here, is removed. So this is a method to use the virtual hard disk for our physical machine here, right? Now like this, can I create the dynamically expanding VHD also? The method and procedure is same there. So please write down creating dynamically expanding VHD. Creating dynamically expanding VHD. Creating dynamically expanding VHD. Okay. So write down in system1 server, open the Hyper-V manager service. Almost the steps are same here. Only one or two places will change. In system1 server, login as administrator. In system1 server, login as administrator. Open the Hyper-V manager service. Open the Hyper-V manager service. Open the Hyper-V manager service. Right click on system name SYS1. Click on new and click on hard disk. Right click on system name SYS1, click on new and click on hard disk. Click on new and click on hard disk. So once you click hard disk, one new page will open. And same thing, click on next. Which type? VHDX. Select VHDX and click next. Now once you click next here, is asking what type you require now. Fixed size VHD, dynamically expanding or differencing. Which one? Dynamically expanding. So write down select dynamically expanding and click next. Select dynamically expanding and click on next. Now once you click next, is asking the name. So give the name, give any name. So write down dynamically dot VHDX. Dynamically dot VHDX. You can give any name, no problem there. Dynamically dot VHDX and click on next. You have to give the name dash dynamically dot VHDX and click on next. Now once you click next, is asking the size. So write down size 10 GB. I'm giving 10 GB here. Click next. Size 10 GB. Click next. And click on finish. And see here how much time is going to take. It's going to take less than 1 minute to create. It's very quick, very fast here. But when you're creating fixed size VHD, it's taking some time, you have to wait there. The write down verification. In Hyper-V manager service, click on inspect disk. In Hyper-V manager service, click on inspect disk. Click on inspect disk and select dynamically expanding VHD. Select dynamically expanding VHD and click on open. Select dynamically expanding VHD, click on open and check the details. Select dynamically expanding VHD, click on open and check the details. So once you click open, the hard disk will be open, hard disk detail will open and you can check the details here. It's connected. We created dynamically expanding VHD. This is the location and this is the name which we given. And see here, currently how much size is using here? 4 MB. Currently size is what? 4 MB. But maximum it can store up to here 8 GB. So whenever you increase the size, so automatically the size of the hard disk will be increased here. In future, if you want to increase the size also, we can increase. This option is available. Okay. So this is called dynamically expanding VHD. So till now we have seen three hard disks. One is direct attached storage, one is fixed size VHD, and one is dynamically. Now come to the next one, that is called differencing VHD. So please write down differencing VHD. Differencing VHD is used for to create or to take. We can say create or take. Differencing VHD is used for to create particular virtual machine hard disk backup. To create or to take particular virtual machine hard disk backup. So I created one virtual machine. In that I have one hard disk, in that I have operating system, in that we have a software. I want to take the complete hard disk backup. So we can take the help of differencing VHD. So differencing VHD is used for what? Is used for to create or take particular virtual machine hard disk backup, complete hard disk. Example here, I have 3 virtual machines here. One is virtual machine 1, virtual machine 2, and virtual machine 3. But one day, I want to take this virtual machine hard disk backup. Like I created VM1, in that we have hard disk, and in that we have operating system, and we have data, and we have softwares. But remember here, if your virtual machine is running by this hard disk, which hard disk? VHD format. So we cannot go for differencing VHD. Option is not available. If my virtual machine is running with this hard disk, which hard disk? VHD X format. So I can go for differencing VHD. So remember here, differencing VHD option is available in VHD is hard disk, is not available in VHD format there. Okay. So I want to take the backup. So I want to take the backup. I created this, everything is done. I want to go for differencing VHD. So today I'm taking the hard disk backup here, complete backup I'm taking. So in this hard disk, in this backup VHD, what we have? Operating system, we have IS service, and we have a example data also is available. Done? Fine. Now in future, assume suddenly this virtual machine is what here? Crash, is burn. Can I remove this virtual machine? Yes, this virtual machine is not working now, or this virtual machine is damaged, so or hard disk is damaged, or operating system is operating system files are missing. So I can do one thing, remove this virtual machine and create the new virtual machine 1, right? Give the name. But when you're creating new virtual machine, is asking one place, create the virtual hard disk, create the virtual. So we have 2 options here, create the new virtual hard disk, right? And one new empty hard disk will create. Then you have to install OS, you have to install softwares, you have to install data there. Okay, you have to create once again all this. But second option, we have use an existing virtual hard disk. If I go for use an existing virtual hard disk, asking the location, sir, what is the location of backup hard disk? So give this location, right, and attach it, and just on this machine, what you have to do? Just on. After it's created, just power on. Once you start the machine, your machine will start with same operating system, and you can find same data, and you can find same services, right? So it means it's going to take less than 1 minute to up the machine. But if I'm going for new virtual hard disk, once again we have to install operating system, is going to take 1 hour time. Again we have to install services, again we have to create the new data or not here. It's going to take 1.5 hours. So which option is best here? After the virtual machine is ready, everything is configured, take the backup and keep it to your side, right? So whenever this virtual machine is not working or removed, right, so we can attach the hard disk and we can run this machine. This option is available, right? So we'll see now. I have 2 virtual machines, virtual machine 1, virtual machine 2. First I will take the backup of virtual machine 1 hard disk, then same method, same procedure for virtual machine 2 hard disk also, right? But the thing is what? If the virtual machine is running, we cannot take the backup. We cannot go for differencing VHD. So first what we have to do, we have to switch off the virtual machine. So remember here, before going for this practical, first we have to off the virtual machine, then we can take the backup. Otherwise it will not allow to you. Okay, so please write down our next lab, creating differencing VHD. Creating differencing VHD for virtual machine 1. Creating differencing VHD. So it means backup hard disk we are creating. Creating differencing VHD for virtual machine 1. In brackets write down backup VHD. In brackets write down backup VHD. Okay, so write down in Hyper-V manager service. In Hyper-V manager service, first shut down the virtual machine 1. In Hyper-V manager service, first shut down the virtual machine 1. First shut down the virtual machine 1. So you have to shut down the virtual machine 1 first. Okay, so you can see here I am in Hyper-V managed service, and right now my virtual machine 1 is what here? Off mode. If it is on, started, so it means I'm not going to create. is not allowing to me. Then write down next line. In Hyper-V Manager service, right click on system name SYS1, click on new and click on hard disk. In Hyper-V Manager service, right click on system name SYS1, click on new and click on hard disk. Now once you click hard disk, write down 2 times next, 2 times next, click next, and is asking the format. By default is we selected VHDX, yes we need. So write down click next. Now it's asking, sir, what type of disk you require? Fixed size VHD, dynamically expanding, or differencing? So write down select differencing, and click on next. Now once you click next here, is asking the name here. Sir, give the name. You can give any name. So write down name dash backup one dot VHDX. So virtual machine 1 hard disk backup I'm taking. Okay, backup 1 dot VHDX. But here, observe here. Try to understand this one is very important for you. Otherwise, you cannot create this virtual hard disk. When I'm selecting differencing dynamically expanding, or I'm going for fixed size. After the name, what is asking? Size. Remember this one. But now I'm going for which hard disk here? Differencing VHD. After the name, right? If I click next, now observe here what is asking. Is not asking the size here. What is asking? Specify the virtual hard disk that you want to use as a parent. Parent means by which hard disk your machine is running. That hard disk is called what here? Parent hard disk. And is asking the parent hard disk location. Now tell me, what is the parent hard disk location here? Sir, this location is storing location. This is not a location. That's why I say the last class on Saturday, I say that when you're installing Hyper-V Manager service, when installing Hyper-V service, at the end is giving the option default storage location or not here. And there have 2 locations. One is virtual machine and one is virtual hard disk. So what is virtual configuration files? Virtual machines are storing. There your virtual machine is storing. In that virtual machine you have hard disk. This is a location for which hard disk we are creating. This is a location. It's not asking this location. It's asking which location? Parent hard disk location. Where is the parent hard disk? So that's why I say that last class, when you before installing Hyper-V, remember this location. Remember this location. So how to know this location? So that's why I have to cancel this one. So please in the lab, if you want to create this hard disk with yourself, follow these steps. Otherwise, you have to take the help of lab coordinator, right? So otherwise, you have to take the help of expert because you created, but you don't know the location, this one. But you can solve this problem with yourself here. So do one thing. Before starting the creating differencing VHD, so we want to create the backup hard disk for virtual machine 1. Right click on this virtual machine 1 and go to the settings. And if you want to know the virtual hard disk location, you can see it showing what here? Virtual hard disk. And this is the name. But what is the location? Select the hard disk and you can see this is the location. What is the location? Not C users. Location is what here? C, programs data, Microsoft, Windows, Hyper-V, VM1. In that virtual hard disk folder is there. In that you have VM1.vhdx. So do one thing. Instead of remembering this location, can you copy this location? Yes, that is the best option. So do one thing. Select all, this one, and right click and click on copy. So how to do copy this one? Remember this one. Right click on virtual machine 1 and click on settings and select the hard disk, right? And select all virtual hard disk location and right click and copy. Remember this one. Now start the process. So please in the lab, before starting the process, copy this parent hard disk location here. Okay. So now tell me the process. How to create? Right click on system name in Hyper-V Managed Service. Click on new. Click on hard disk. Click on next. Then VHDX type next. Then differencing. Click next and give the name here. And we are giving the name here backup 1.vhdx and click on next. And please Don't store the location here. This is the location where our backup hard disk is creating. Backup hard disk, don't give the location here. Okay, remember this one. So we have to click on next. So please, after this name, write down next. You return or not? Done. So continue please. After the name, backup 1.vsdx, and click on next. Now after next, now write down in location, paste the parent hard disk. In location, paste the parent hard disk dash address. Paste the parent hard disk. You can say location, you can say address. Okay, dash location or address, you can say. Okay, so remove this one. This is not our. So what you have to right click and paste it. Now this is our location. Okay, so it's easy for you. Okay, so please in the lab, if you don't know the location, we have to copy and paste. Then write down, click next and finish. Now once you click next, once you click finish, your virtual hard disk is created. So this is called complete virtual hard disk is copied. This feature is called cloning also here. It's called what here? Cloning. We have one hard disk, so much data is there. We are copying that one, right? If this hard disk is one, I can attach this hard disk. I can allow the user to access the resources, right? Click next and click on finish. But tell me before this one, before finishing, now the last class you've seen how to install the operating system and adding the data, adding the services also. You have a good knowledge, right? Now tell me how much time is taken to install the operating system there. More than half an hour. More than half an hour. Now check it out, how much time is taking to create a copy of this hard disk with operating system, with data, with software. How much time? Less than 1 minute, right? So it means your your hard disk is ready with operating system, right? We don't need to waste a half an hour, more than half an hour. Okay, how to inspect? By using inspect. So write down verification. In Hyper-V Manager Service, click on Inspect Disk. In Hyper-V Manager Service, click on Inspect Disk. Click on Inspect Disk. Click on Inspect Disk. Okay. Now once you click on this Inspect Disk, write down, select the backup 1 VHD, backup 1 hard disk. Select the backup 1 hard disk and click on open and check the details. Select backup 1 hard disk, click on open and check the details. So once you click open, right, so you can find your differencing VHD is created. This is the location, right? This is our location, right? And this is our parent hard disk location, and you can see the size is what here? 127, because when you're creating parent hard disk, the size is what here? 127. Same size is available. Okay, now how to use in the real time? Assume this virtual machine 1 is what? Corrupted, is not working. Now create the new virtual machine 1. Create the new virtual machine 1. Okay, and give the size. I'm giving 1 GB. Click on next. Now see here, the last class when we seen, when you're dropping this one, we are not having switch, but already we created switch or not here. Can we drop, can we connect the switch here? So it means before virtual machine you can create the switch, after virtual machine also we can create, but if you created before virtual machine switch, so you can directly attach from here. We no need to go later, network settings, we no need to attach there. So click on next, and here we have to go for create a new virtual hard disk or link an existing one. Link an existing. So we have to select the second one, use the existing virtual hard disk and give the backup 1 hard disk location which we created. Select this one, and after that just click on next and click on finish. So once you click finish, one virtual machine hard disk, one virtual machine will create, and just what you have to do is start the virtual machine 1. So once you start the machine, your machine start with the same operating system, right, with the same software, with the same data here. You have to check this one. Okay, now I have one question here. So we seen here how to create the how to install the Hyper-V service, how to create the virtual machine. But I have one question here. In future, if the physical machine, system 1 host machine, physical machine, My host computer is suddenly failed, crashed, operating system is damaged, then what? We have this question in our mind or not here? And when you're raising this question now today, because you're learning this topic today, right? And the year is what? 2018. That is April. Today is what? April 9th, right? We are raising. But this question, the Microsoft expert also is having this question when he's creating this service, right? If the physical machine is failed, then what? Can you run the virtual machines? No. So the Microsoft has given one solution to you. If the physical machine is down, still you can run these machines. You can allow the user to access this machine data. We no need to create everything again. So that option Microsoft is saying, that is called Hyper-V replica server configuration. That is called Hyper-V replica server. So what is the use of this Hyper-V replica server configuration? So right now we have system 1. In system 1 we have virtual machines. How many virtual machines we have now? 3. So what the Microsoft is saying, you can do one thing, take one more physical machine, and that is my system 2 physical computer. Okay, now in this computer install the operating system and install the Hyper-V service, only Hyper-V service. Okay, and this machine should be a part of our domain, member server. Okay, now in this machine don't create any virtual machine here. In this machine we have to configure this service. What service here? Hyper-V replica server service. Configure this Hyper-V replica server service in which machine? In system 2. Now go to the system 1 and tell to the system 1 which virtual machine copy you want here in system 2. So I am going for Hyper-V replica server configuration for VM1. So once you go for VM1, now in system 2 automatically, in system 2 host machine in Hyper-V, automatically one machine will create by the name of VM1. So in future in VM1, if I'm installing operating system, the same operating system also will install here, right? If already is there, it will replicate. Okay, in future if I'm adding some new data in VM1, automatically that data also will add in system 2 VM1. Now if I'm adding some services here like IS, the same service also will be added. But remember here, this servers is on standby servers. These servers are what here? Standby. This server is what here? Standby, because these servers are running here. Okay, now like this we can go for virtual machine 2 also. So when I'm creating virtual machine 2 here, in future if I add the operating system, same OS, if I add any service like WDS, that will be added. Like this I can go for VM3 also. So if I install OS, that OS. Now in future if I add some data in VM3 in VM2, that automatically will be replicated. But these servers are what here? Standby. So in future if the system 1 physical machine is not working, is totally down, can I on the system to all these 3 VMs or not? With the same name, with the same operating system, with the same services, with the same data, right? Just on the machines and serve the services. So now tell me, do you have any question? If the physical machine is down, right, we cannot run these virtual machines? Yes, we can run by the help of Hyper-V replica server configuration. Okay, so we'll see now this practical Hyper-V replica server configuration. So please write down our next lab. Our next lab is Hyper-V replica server configuration. But for this practical, please tell me how many virtual machines we require. How many physical machines we require? 2. One is system 1, and in system 1 what we require? Hyper-V service with virtual machines. So please write down. In system 1 server, install the Hyper-V service and create the virtual machines VM1 and VM2. In system 1 install the Hyper-V service and create the virtual machines VM1 and VM2. Okay, and already we know how to install the Hyper-V service, how to create the virtual machines, and already is there. You can see here, I'm going to my system 1. In my system 1 we have Hyper-V service, in that we have VM1 and VM2. If this machine is on, no problem. If this machine is off also, no problem. We can go for this configuration here. Okay, it's not compulsory this machine should be off before going this. If it is on also, in running time also, we can do this process Hyper-V replica configuration. Okay, now next slide down. In system 2 computer, in brackets write down member server. In system 2 computer member server, in system 2 computer member server, log in as a domain administrator. In system 2 member server, log in as a domain administrator. And already we know how to log in as a domain admin. In case if you're logging as a local admin, this configuration you cannot do it. So check system 2 is a part of our domain or not. If it is work group, you have to first join it and then restart the machine, log in as a domain administrator. So you can see here I'm going to my system 2 now, and this is my system 2, log in as a domain admin. You can see right now we are logging as a local admin system 2. So we have to go back, go to the other and type the name, that is administrator@zoom.com, or you can log in like this also. If you don't want to log in, you can type zoom/administrator. If I'm logging like this, I no need to type the @rate.com there, right? So password is what? Zoom_123. So I'm logging as a domain administrator here. Then write down next line, install the Hyper-V manager service. Install the Hyper-V manager service. And already we know how to install the Hyper-V manager service to save the time, right? The last session already we installed the Hyper-V manager service here, is already is there. If it is not there, you have to install it. But in this machine, don't create any virtual machines, because we want to replicate the virtual machine from system 1 to system 2. So if I go to the start button, you can see here we have a Hyper-V managed service already I have installed. Open this service and see here this service, Hyper-V manager service, is running in which machine? You have to check. That computer name is what here? System 2, and you can see here right now there is no virtual machines here, and don't create it should be empty here. Now before going next process, what the Microsoft is saying, in system 1 and system 2 in both machines, in system 1 and system 2 in both machines, to replicate the data from one virtual machine, one physical machine to other physical machine. And what type of data we are replicating? Virtual machines and virtual machines data we are replicating. So we require some services. So we have to enable one service, and this service we have to enable in firewall. And that service name is what? Hyper-V replica HTTP listener. Hyper-V replica HTTP listener. This service we have to enable in system 1 also and in system 2, in both machines. By the help of this service, data will be replicated here. So please write down. In system 1 server, open the administrative tools. In system 1 server, open the administrative tools. So if you go to the start button, you can see it. If you go to the start button, you can find administrative. Open the administrative tools. So you can see it's open, and if you come down, you can find one Windows firewall with advanced security. So write down open Windows firewall with advanced security. Open Windows firewall with advanced security. Once you double click, it will open. Open Windows firewall with advanced security. Once you double click, Windows firewall with security is open. Done. And you can see here, are you finding inbound rules option here? So write down, select inbound rules. Select inbound rules. Once you select inbound rules here, there are so many rules are there, but try to understand. If you come down, we require this rule here. Yeah, we want this one, Hyper-V replica HTTP listener, and by default is not enabled. We have to enable. So write down, right click on Hyper-V replica. Right click on Hyper-V replica. You can see the name here also is displaying here. Right click on Hyper-V replica HTTP listener. You can use HTTPS also, but till now we have not done this practical HTTPS. We are going for HTTP. Anyone you can go for. Right click on Hyper-V replica HTTP listener and click on enable root. Click on, you can click here also. Click on enable rule. So once you click this enable rule here, you can see option is what here? Yes. The same service we have to enable in system 2 server also. So please write down. Enable the Hyper-V replica. Enable the Hyper-V replica HTTP listener. Enable the Hyper-V replica HTTP listener in system 2 server also. Enable Hyper-V replica HTTP listener in system 2 server. Right? In system 2 server also we have to enable. Now tell me the step how to enable. Right now we are in system 2 machine. Open the administrative tools. Then after that we have to come down. We have to open Windows Firewall with advanced security. Double click, it will open. Then select what here? Inbound rules options. And you can see there are so many rules are there here. But if you have come down, you can find Hyper-V replica HTTP listener, and we have to click on enable. Once you click enable, the rule is what? Enable. Done. Close it. Now next, what we have to do? I want to make the system 2 as a what here? Replica server. And this configuration, Hyper-V replica server configuration, we have to do in system 2 computer. So please write down. In system 2 computer, open the Hyper-V manager service. Open the Hyper-V manage service. In system 2 computer, open the Hyper-V manager service. The right click on system name SYS2. Right click on system name SYS2. Right click on system name SYS2 and click on Hyper-V settings. Click on Hyper-V settings. Now once you click this Hyper-V settings here, one new page will open. And in this page you can see the last option here, replication configuration. But by default is written what? Not enable. So we are going to enable this one. So write down, select replication configuration. Select replication configuration. Now once you select replication configuration, right side, replication configuration right side, are you finding enable this computer as a replica server? Yes. And which one we have to select? HTTP or HTTPS here? HTTP. So write down, select enable this computer as a replica server. Select enable this computer as a replica server. Then write down, select use Kerberos HTTP. Select use Kerberos HTTP. So by using HTTP service port, we are transporting the data here. Okay, use Kerberos HTTP. Okay, done. And here by default port number is what here? 80. We no need to change it. Then write down, click on add. Click on add. Now are you finding add option in this page? No? Don't say no, is there. If you not find something, so search it. So please do one thing, scroll down this one. If you scroll down the page, you can see, are you finding add option here? And here actually why I'm going to add option? Because we have to give the primary server information. Who is the primary server here? System 1. Because where the virtual machines are running, that is called what here? Primary server. So once you click add here, is asking sir, specify the primary server name here. But how to give the name? By using fully qualified domain name. By using fully qualified. And is asking next is what here? Specify the trusted group. In trusted group you can give anything, XYZ, ABC, your name or domain name, no problem there. So write down, first one, write down, specify the computer sorry, specify the primary server name. Specify the primary server name dash and fully qualified domain name we have to give. Tell me what I have to give here now. Yeah, in the now the fully qualified domain name is system1.zoom.com. Maybe in the lab your domain names are system names are different that you have to give. So write down specify the primary server name dash sys1 dot zoom.com. The next line write down specify the trusted group name dash specify the trusted group name dash zoom.com. You can give any name, it will be accepted for you. And click OK. Click on OK. Click on OK. So once you click OK, your job is done. Then we have to click on apply also, right? Now see here, are you finding in middle page, in this page, in the middle is giving specify the default location for storing the replication file. So whenever the data is replicating from system 1 to system 2 server, so in one place all these files, all this hard disk data has to be stored or not here. And here you can observe here one new hard disk is creating in system 2. One new virtual hard disk is creating in system 2, and this virtual hard disk technically is called pass-through VHD. It's called what here? Pass-through VHD. So not only pass-through VHD, right, is creating automatically or we have to create automatically. Where it is creating? In Hyper-V replica server in system 2 automatically. Why it is creating? Because when data is replicating from physical machine system 1 server, all VMs, data is replicating to virtual machine system 2, right, Hyper-V. So this data has to be stored in one hard disk location. That is called what here? Pass-through VHD. So in system 2, right, one hard disk is creating, and this hard disk is called what here? Pass-through VHD, and this is the location. Okay, so we have to click OK. The write down, click on apply. After OK, write down, click on apply. Click on OK, OK, 2 times. Click on apply, OK. See here, again is giving warning here. Actual, what is a warning? You have to check inbound rule. This feature is enabled or not. Which feature? Hyper-V replica HTTP listener rule. Already we enable or not here? Yes, so click OK, and one more time, OK. After apply 2 times, OK, OK. Now your job is done. But you can see there is no virtual machine is replicated. But you can see here, if I go back to my system 1 server in Hyper-V managed service, how many virtual machines we have? 2. One by one will replicate. Okay, so this replication process we have to do from system 1. Because the system 1 primary server don't know that on which machine, on which IP your replica server is created there. So please write down. Next line, in system 1 server, open the Hyper-V manager service. In system 1 server, open the Hyper-V manager service. In system 1 server, open the Hyper-V manager service. So first I want to go for replication for virtual machine 1. So write down, right click on virtual machine 1. And you can see here, are you finding status anything here? No, but after once I started process in the lab, you can find some percentage because you're sending the data is going to take some time there. Okay, so right click on virtual machine 1 and click on enable replication. Click on enable replication. So once you click enable replication, one new page will open, and follow the instructions and complete it, this one. So once you click enable replication, one new page is open. This is the beginning page. So write down, click next. Now once you click next, is asking, sir, specify the replica server on which machine your replica server is running. We have to give that name, replica server name. So replica server name is what? System 1, SYS1 or SYS2? SYS2. So write down replica server name dash SYS2 and click on next. Now here, once you click next, it will verify whether really this computer is there or not in your network, right? If your verification is failed, so you cannot go for this process. And see here, once I click next, I have to get in next page HTTP port 80, HTTP port 80. But in the lab, in real time, if you're getting HTTPS port 443, HTTPS port 443, so it means the system 2 is not in our network, right? You have to remember this one. So you can see here, once I click next, is going for verification. Now I'm getting what here? HTTP, and port is what here? 18 is recognized. So means everything is okay. Now here we no need to do anything, just 4 times. Next, 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 and finish. So please write down 4 times. Next, 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 finish. But read the slides, read the pages. If you have some changes, change it. Otherwise, keep the default setting and click on next. Now here, once I click next here, it's saying set this hard disk data is replicating. Which hard disk data is replicating? VM1 hard disk data. Okay, good. Next, and here only the latest recovery point has to be replicate here. Yes, I want. Now click next. Is I say how you want replication, what method type you want. Send initial copy first, that is okay. But after that, what you want replication? You want replication on schedule or you want replication immediately? So if I do anything in system1 VM1, so it will replicate to system2 VM1, right? So if I go for, but if you want replication, you can schedule, you can go for share the schedule. I want default option, click next and click on finish. So once you click finish here, you can see here if I go to system2 till now, the virtual machine is not generated. But if I once I finish here, now your virtual machine is going to generate there. Now here again is asking, sir, go for the settings here. Right now we are not having settings here. So click on close. We have to close this one. So once you close here, you can see your job is done. But here status is not showing because my machine is not having data. So once you have some data, it's going to replicate. But first time it's going to take time because GBs of data is there. GBs of operating system is there. It's going to take at least 15 minutes time. But next time when you add something, it's going to replicate there. But how to verify whether the replica server is generated in system1, sorry, in system2 or not? So write down verification. In system2 server, open the Hyper-V Manager service. In system2 server, open the Hyper-V Manager service. Next line, write down, check the virtual machine 1. Check the virtual machine 1. I'm not saying create the virtual machine 1. I'm saying what here? Check the virtual machine 1. So already virtual machine 1 is created there. So you can see here, I'm going to the virtual machine system2 server, and you can see I open the Hyper-V Manager service. In system2 server, Hyper-V Manager service. Are you finding VM1 here? But I want to know more details here. So you can do one thing, select the virtual machine 1, and if you come down, you can see one option is there, that is what here? Replication. So please write down. In system2 Hyper-V Manager service, in system2 Hyper-V Manager service, select the VM1 virtual machine. In system2 Hyper-V Manager service, select the VM1 virtual machine. Select the VM1 virtual machine and click on replication. Click on replication. In the down, see here, once you select virtual machine 1, in the down, are you finding replication here? Select the VM1 virtual machine and click on replication and check the details. Okay, so once you click on replication tab, you can see the details. We are checking the details of VM1, and what is written here? Replication type is what? Replica. Status is what? Replication enable. Everything is normal health, and you can see primary server also. That is what? System1 is a primary server, and replica server is what here? System2. And the last replication synchronization has done at this time, this date is available. Okay, so like this, can we replicate the virtual machine 2 also? Yes, I'm going back to my system1 Hyper-V Manager service. Right click on VM2. Sorry, right click on system VM2 and click on enable replication. Then click on next, and here is asking virtual Hyper-V server, sorry, replica server, that is system2. Done. Port 80 HTTP. Next, 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 finish. Done. Close it, this one. Now if you go to the here in Hyper-V service, in system 2 Hyper-V managed service, you can find VM2 also is there, and in VM2 details also you can see here, it is showing here. Okay, so this is called what here? Hyper-V replica server configuration. Okay, so now we done what is Hyper-V service, right? We done how to create the virtual machines and how to create the virtual hard disk and how to create the virtual switches also, and how to go for Hyper-V replica server configuration. Any doubts? No. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You want to ping. You want to ping. Yes, you can ping. Virtual machine name is what? On the virtual machine one, and check the computer name. And go to the command, type ping space, system name of the virtual machine one, dot domain name, right? And you will get the reply there. Or you can ping with the IP also, it will be allowed to you, right? So now come to the next topic, write down remote desktop service. So please tell me what is the desktop actual? The last class we discussed desktop. Desktop means profile. Whenever as a admin or as a user, if I'm logging to one computer, I require a desktop or not here? I require profile. Then I can work on this machine to access the computers, to access the data, to access the services. We can access or not here? That is called desktop here. It's called profile. But what is the meaning of remote desktop? If anyone is asking to you in interview, sir, what is remote desktop, sir? Accessing the other computer desktop by sitting on my computer. By sitting on this computer, I'm accessing other computer desktop. That is called what here? Remote desktop. Example, I have one branch office in US and one machine is there. I'm accessing that machine desktop by sitting on my laptop. That is called what here? Remote desktop. So remote desktop will allow you to take the other computer desktop in front of you, and you can do some changes, you can do some configuration without going physically there, right? And whatever data you are storing here, whatever configuration you're doing on remote desktop, once you sign out, this data is going to store in that remote computer hard disk here, not in your local hard disk. That's called what here? Remote desktop. But the remote desktop is very, very useful, or is really required for administrator. Yes, it's very, very helpful in the real time when you're doing troubleshooting, when you're doing some configuration. That's why we require remote desktop. And remember here, by default, this remote desktop feature in your computer is there. We no need to request to Microsoft. By default is there, but by default is what here? Disable. And as admin, only admin, not users. As admin, we can enable here, right? We can enable. But assume it here, you are the administrator of this network, and this is your one server. The system one is your server, and who is having right to log in here? As the administrator, you can log in physically to this machine to do troubleshooting or not here. We can add something, we can remove something, right? We can add creating the drives, adding the services, adding the data. We can do it physically. We have to do it. But assume it, you are the administrator of this organization, and your company is running 24/7, right? But tell me, as administrator, you work for 24/7? No, you will not work for 24/7. Assume it, you are working in day shift, but your company is running in night also, and today you are in home and you are sleeping. Night 2 o'clock, you're getting one call, and this call you're getting from your manager, and your manager is calling, is saying, sorry to disturb you, sir. Night 2 o'clock I'm calling, but it's very urgent. Sir, sorry, I forget my password, sir. I forget my password, sir. Right? Please, only for 5 minutes. Right? Please solve my problem. Only for 5 minutes, come to office and give one new password to me. Right? Right? Please help me. So your manager, your boss is calling. Can you say, sir, it's night 2 o'clock, wait for 5 or 6 hours, I will come early morning, right? I will troubleshoot your problem, I will solve your problem. But your boss is saying, sir, it's urgent, sir, right? So what you have to do now? Wake up, right? And go to your office. It's taking 1 hour time, and go to your server, log in as an admin, right? And change the password. Now tell me how much time you need to change the user password. 5 minutes? Less than 1 minute. Right click and reset the password, right? Reset the password, right? You tell to your boss, said, this is your new password, sir, right? I have done my job, right? Your boss is saying, thank you, sir, right? And come back from your office to again home, right? Now, are you solving the problem? Yes, you're helping to your users to get the answers. Whatever the problem queries you are getting, you're solving. But how? Manually, we are doing. But how much time you're wasting now? 2 hours you are wasting here, right? And assume one day you went to the Bangalore with your family, and you're in holiday, and next day your boss is calling, is saying, sir, we require DHCP server, sir. Sir, please come to office. It's very urgent for this project. We require DHCP server. And who is having right to configure DHCP server? Administrator. Now your boss is saying, it's very urgent, sir. Please come to office. And you are saying, yes, sir, I will come. I will leave, right? I'm coming from Bangalore to Hyderabad, right? And go to the office and configure a new DHCP server, right? I can go back from Hyderabad to Bangalore, right? Now tell me, are you solving the problem? Yes. But you're wasting your time or not here? And assume your servers are in USA, you're working there. And on vacation, you came to India. And next day, your boss is saying, sir, create one DNS server separately there. And we require one zones. We require some websites. So what we have to do? We have to go from India to USA to configure all these things? No. But can we take the help of remote desktop feature? Yes. So remote desktop is very, very helpful for administrator to troubleshoot, to do some configuration, quick and very fast here. And assume your servers are in ground floor, and you're sitting on 5th floor in your office, right? And one day one user is coming, you're getting a query, create one user account. Create one user account. So now what we have to do? We have to go from 5th floor to ground floor to log in as an administrator to create the account? No need. Take the 5th floor any machine, right? Remotely take the remote desktop of your server. Can we create the accounts or not here? So we are saving the time, right? We are solving the problem quick and very fast here by using remote desktops. But remember here, remote desktop feature is what here? Disable, we have to enable. Within the LAN, when you're taking remote desktop on your machine, we require private IP. But over the internet, if you're taking remote desktop by sitting on out of your network, we require public unique IP. So remember here, I want to take the remote desktop from out of the network. So on this machine, we require public IP. And assume today public IP is 10.0.1 here, right? And this is my home laptop. By sitting on this home laptop, I want to take remote desktop. In home laptop, you can use any operating system. You can use what here? Any operating system. But remember here, between your server, remote server, between your machine, we require internet connectivity. But in server, we require public IP. I want to take remote desktop. Here you can use mobile internet also. Your normal internet line also in your home PC you can use. But first we have to log in as a local admin. That is called normal session. Example, in my laptop, I'm logging with Ahmed. In your PC, you're logging with your account or not here? Can we log in out of the network by sitting on our home PC? Can we log in like administrator@zoom.com? Can we log in Ahmed@zoom.com? No. So first we have to log in as a local admin, and you can use any operating system. But I have to request to my remote server to get the remote desktop or not here. So the Microsoft is saying in all Microsoft operating system, we have one service. That service is called RDC. It's called what here? RDC. RDC stands Remote Desktop Connection Service. If you go to the computer accessories, you can find this feature, RDC, Remote Desktop Connection. And using this connection, by using RDC, we can request to remote server to get the remote desktop. So what you have to do, once you open the RDC, is asking two things, sir, computer name and IP address. Computer name and IP, right? So which is the best option? IP is best. Computer name within the LAN we can use, but over the internet IP is best. But which computer name, which IP we have to type? We have to type remote computer IP address. Remote computer IP address, right? So we have to type remote computer IP address is asking here. So we can say remote server IP address. So we have to type the remote desktop computer server IP address, and the IP address is what? 10.0.0.1. Once you press enter, it's not allowing directly to connect. It's asking, sir, who are you? You're known user or unknown? If you're known also, whether you have permission or not. So we have to type what here? We have to type our name @ domain name and password, right? Now once you type your name and password, once you press enter, now from your machine the request will go to remote server, and the remote server will do two things: authentication and authorization, right? If your authentication authorization is done in front of you in your home PC, you have one more desktop. So now tell me how many desktop you have. Two desktop. One is your normal desktop and one is your remote desktop of which machine? 10.0.0.1. And who logged here? Administrator. Now can I create some user accounts here? Yes. Can I change the passwords? Yes. Can I add some new services like DHCP, IAS service? Can I add some new softwares here? Can I add some new data? Yes. But once you sign out from remote server, from a remote desktop machine, once you sign out, so now tell me this data is going to store where? Is going to store in my computer or remote server? Remote server. And how the data is transferring? The data is transferring by using this protocol service. What is the protocol? RDP. RDP stands remote desktop protocol service. By using this, data is transferring from your normal machine to remote machine here, right? This one. Now, who is having right to take remote desktop? Administrator. And we are troubleshooting the problem of services, of our accounts, of our data quickly and very fast by using remote desktop. Within the LAN we can take, or over the internet. Method procedure is same. But within the LAN we are taking, we require private IP. Over the internet we are taking, we require public IP address. But assume it. Here something is called licensing also is there. Okay. The microservicing by default only 2 sessions are allowed. How many sessions? 2 sessions. Example, there are 2 junior admins are there. One is user 1 and one is a user 2. And user 1, user 2 also is having right to log in server physically, and we given some rights. By their rights, the users can manage the server services, servers data there. Okay. But one day these 2 guys, user 1, user 2 is not coming to office. And the user 1 and user 2 is requesting to admin, sir, we are unable to come to the office for 2 days, but allow to us to take the remote desktop from our home of our server, so we can do the work from home there. So we have to give permission. By default, this user is not having permission. So first give remote desktop permission. Which permission? Remote desktop. I will show you how to give this one. Give the remote desktop permission and teach to user 1, user 2 how to take the remote desktop. Tell to user 1, take your laptop, sir, log in locally, normal, and open the RDC and request to our remote server, that is 10.0.1, and type your name and password. The request will go to remote server. Remote server will verify the name and authentication authorization. And in front of you, you have one more desktop. That is a remote desktop of which machine? 10.1. But who logged here? User 1. Right here. Sessions are different. This is a user 1 profile and this is a admin profile. And whatever the user 1 is having rights, by the rights they can manage. Now like this, tell to the user 2 also. So log into your computer, sir. Open the RDC and request to which machine? 10.1, and type your name and password. Request will go to remote server and remote desktop is available in front of you. And you take in the remote desktop which machine? 10.0.1. And who logged here? User 2, right? So now tell me at a time, if I want to log into this server, which server? System 1, physically, how many users can log in at a time? Physically, how many users can log into this machine, sir? Only 1. More than 1? It's not possible. But remotely, how many users are working on this physical machine? 3. One is admin, one is user 1, and one is a user 2. So at a time, how many users are working? 2 users. 2 or more than 2? More than 2. We can allow. One is user 1, one is user 2, and one is a user 3. So this is a remote desktop. But here we have some licensing also here. We'll check what is the licensing. But at a time, how many sessions we can take? Remotely, how many users can take the session? 2. Example, if the user 1, user 2 already is working, admin cannot take the remote desktop. Admin cannot take the remote desktop. But if already admin is working, user 1 is working, and when the user 2 is trying to take remote desktop, it will not allow to you, right? So by default is how many sessions? 2 remote sessions. So you can see here. And this service in previous operating system, this service, remote desktop service, also is called terminal service. It's called what here? Terminal. So remember here, whenever you find this service, that service is called what here? Remote desktop service. Okay. So assume this is my remote server, and user 1 is requesting by using RDC connection, is requesting to server. Server will verify the name and password, and remote desktop is available in front user. But this desktop is what here? User 1. Admin is requesting to remote server, same time, and verification is done, and admin is blocking. But remember here, admin desktop is different, user 1. Permissions also is what? Different there. So once you enable the remote desktop session, this mode is called remote administration mode. Special is designed for remote management of servers, and the 2 connections are Supported license is not required. But if you want to license, if you want to allow more than two, then we have to go for licensing. Try to understand this one. Licensing is very important here. The first license we have, that is called per user. Per user. Second option you have per device. Per user, per device. What is device? Device means computers. So device means machines, you can say. Machines means what? Computer means what? Not only your computers. Maybe a laptop, maybe your desktop, maybe your server, maybe your mobile, maybe your tablet also. Because in our tablet also, we have this feature, remote desktop feature. We can request, we can take. Okay? That is called what here? Device here. That's why Microsoft is not using the word computer server. It's using what here? Device. By any device, you can take the remote desktop. So first I will go for per device. If I'm going for per device, I'm taking the 10 computer license. How many computer license? 10 computer. So I have lot of computers in my mobiles are there, tablets are there, but I'm taking 10 computer license and I'm installing this license only 10 computers. So it means the users are restricted to use only this 10 machines to take the remote desktop. The user cannot take mobiles, user cannot use their tablets, user cannot use their own laptops, user cannot use outside network computers. User has to use only this 10 selected computers where the license is available to take the remote desktop. User cannot take any other computer. Okay, this is one. But if I go for per user option, I'm taking 10 user license. I'm using what here? 10 users. And these 10 users can use any device to take the remote desktop. To take the remote desktop. Any device means what? They can use office machines. They can use out of office machines also. Out of network computer. They can use their own laptop. They can use mobile also. They can use tablet also to take the remote desktop. So now tell me which is the best option here. Per user is best. So in the real time, companies are using this one. Okay. So please copy this one. Then we'll see this practical. How to take the remote desktop. is over. So please write down one more lab today, the last one. Enabling remote desktop service. Now for this practical, we require two machines. We'll enable the remote desktop service in system 1 and we'll access the remote desktop from system 2 there. Maybe this machine is in our network or maybe this machine is in out of our network. So write down in system 1 computer. In system 1 computer or server, you can say. In system 1 server, log in as an administrator. In system 1 server, log in as a administrator. Then write down, right click on system name SYS1, click on properties. Right click on system name SYS1, click on properties. Right click on system name SYS1, click on properties. And you can find here, we are sitting on system 1 and you can see here, we have to go to this option. That is what? Remote settings. So right down, click on remote settings. Click on remote settings. Now once you click this remote settings, one new page will open. And in this page, you can see here, remote desktop feature. By default is what? Do not allow remote connection to this computer. So we have to go for allow option. So write down, select allow remote connection to this computer. Select allow remote connection to this computer. And click on apply and click on OK. Click on apply, click OK. Your remote desktop service is successfully enabled. Then write down verification. Select allow remote connection to this computer. Click on apply, OK. Click on apply, click on OK. Your job has done. But I want to know who is having permission. Who is having permission? So if I go to the again remote settings and you can find option, select users and select user. You can see it. Who is having by default permission? Zoom/administrator already is having rights. If I go to this option, which option? Select users. You can see that. But I want to give the permission to user also. So I have to add the user accounts here. First, we require user account in ADUC console. If you have, you can add. So how to add? By using add. I don't know user account is there or not. So I will type the name example Sam. Check names. Yeah, is there. Accept it. If the user account is not there, it will not accept. So click OK. Now if I click OK, so now tell me how many guys are having right to take the remote desktop. One is admin and one is a Sam. Click OK. Click OK. Right? Close this one. But before taking remote desktop, check this machine IP address. What is the IP of this machine here? IP config. You can see IPs of my machine is what? 10.0.0.1 here. Okay. So write down verification in system 2 computer. In system 2 computer, log in as a what? User. Sir, we are not logging physically, sir. We are logging locally. As if you are using your laptop, how you will log in? sam@zoom.com or admin@zoom.com? No, you have to log in with your account. That is called local account actually, you can say. So write down, log in as a local admin. Local admin means not administrator. In your laptop, what account you are using or your PCs, you have to log in like that. Okay. So here, this is my system 2 computer. You can see here, and you can use any operating system in this machine. No problem there. I logged as an administrator here. Then write down next line. Open the run and type this command. MCSC. Very simple command is there. MCSC. Click OK. In bracket write down opening remote desktop connection service. Opening remote desktop connection service. By using this command, we can open remote desktop connection service. So you can see here, once you click OK, you can find, are you finding remote desktop connection service is open? This is one method. If you want to open normally, go to what? Search, type here RE, and you can find here. Are you finding remote desktop connection service? You can open from here also, right? Now it's asking computer name, but instead of computer name, you can use IP. But which IP? remote server IP address. So write down, type the remote server IP address. Next line, write down, type the remote server IP address 10.0.0.1 and click on connect. Type the remote server IP address 10.0.1 and click on connect. Type the remote server IP address 10.0.1 and click on connect. So once you click connect here, once you click connect, the request is going to remote server 10.1 and is asking, sir, who are you, sir?